we're not going to go through all the design standards. So that would take, 5 years. Brianna, Emily, Randy, they've been studying these things for, a long, long, long time. There's a lot to know, but a couple of common things we see. So if you're thinking about designing a kitchen, some stuff to look out for. If you visit a friend's kitchen, these 4 or 5 things, I bet 2 or 3 of these things on this list probably exist in that kitchen, unless they've remodeled it with a good designer recently. The aisle, this is the distance between the countertop from one set of cabinets to the countertop of another, like between an island and a perimeter, or wall to wall if you're in a galley kitchen. Very often sometimes they're too small. I don't see them being too small as often as I see them being too big. Emily, you see that when you're remodeling down there, or Randy? We see that a lot up here, this giant space between counters.
Not too terribly often, I don't think.
Okay. It seems fairly common in a galley kitchen down here. They'll have 7 feet from one side to the other. Which,
I bet those kitchens were designed before, like, the idea of the island was here.
Yeah. Well, I think they were designed with a builder who just didn't understand kitchens. They just said, "Oh, that space over there, that's for the kitchen. Just do whatever you want."
They're trying to fit a house on a certain lot size, and they're like, "We'll make this big, but not big enough."
Right.
I think it's a problem of designing a house. The way we used to do it, we designed the house from the outside in. Mm-hmm. More and more, I think now people are understanding you really need to design a house from the inside out, and probably starting with the kitchen and the bathrooms, and then let the rest of the house revolve around that. But your aisles really should be 48 inches is what I consider a minimum. The NKBA would say 42. Now 42 is not a bad minimum. 36 is possible. Certainly over in Europe where they don't have these large spaces like 36 is actually the standard. Mm-hmm. But 36 is going to feel cramped. 42 is okay, especially for single cook kitchens. 48's nice. I think 48's a real, perfect, space. Up to 60 inches, even 60 inches feels pretty good. And that sounds like a lot, 5 feet counter to counter. But that's actually a pretty nice amount of space. If you're thinking wheelchair access or ADA standards, you really need 60, 65 inches for a wheelchair to be able to turn around appropriately if you're in a kitchen aisle. Mm-hmm. So that's something to definitely pay attention to.
We had someone comment that said that they felt in their house that they used to live in, their island was too far. Mary Woods said that.
Yeah, I see that. I see too big more than I see too small down here. I think that's a common error. And unfortunately, when I see too big, sometimes if it's too big, you put an island in there, solves the problem because you divide, you put an extra counter. But I see they're too big to be comfortable, but too small to fit an island. It's a weird space. It's a 14 wide kitchen. That's weird.
I have like 8 feet, so I could have a 6-inch island. It doesn't work out.
But to walk 8 feet from like your stove to your sink is crazy. Right?
Yeah.
It's a long way to go. But yeah, we see that a lot. Something I see a lot is this: people put refrigerators against a wall, which I am 100% against. I don't think you should do it. Why? Because a fridge door won't open all the way if it's against a wall. But I see it kind of done all the time. Emily, thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating, especially if there's not a large enough, at least 4 or 6 inches, minimum between that wall and the door. But the other issue is then when people put it on the end of a run, and then it opens into a hallway or a utility room, and you're walking out of the utility room, and then you're smacked if somebody has the door open.
Yeah, that's another big one. Yeah, I see that a lot. There's a lot of doorways leading into a kitchen right next to the fridge, and if you open that door, it blocks that doorway. So that's a common one. We see, one thing we see down here, fridges have gotten so big in the last, 5 or 6 years. Right. So now people, they had one of those old white fridges with the freezer on top. And then they updated. Now they got this giant fridge fit in this space that's designed for a tiny fridge. And they're usually right up against the wall. Old fridges, those old white fridges, their doors were only, a couple inches thick. Modern fridge doors are, 8, 10, 12 inches thick because they got the storage on the door where you put your milk. They just need a lot more space.
Sometimes builders will do small little half walls, so half the refrigerator's hanging out, and that looks horrible.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no, Anyway, we see builders make a lot of mistakes like that, but the easy thing, what we like to do, put a tall cabinet next to the fridge. Easy peasy. That's Andrew, our project manager, trying to sneak in behind me there. I think that's you put a tall cabinet 18 inches wide next to the fridge. Now you've got pantry storage and your fridge opens up fully. Personal peccadillo microwave hoods. Not a fan. Emily, any thoughts?
Trying to get people to steer away from them too. I mean, a good majority of what we do here in Kingwood is probably mid 50s and older. And so just trying to encourage them that as they get older, it's going to be more difficult to reach up high and pull down your casserole dish or with something falling on you. So we try to not do that, the microwave hoods.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you said about like steam ovens becoming more popular and then like pantries becoming more popular, it's better to maybe just have a countertop microwave in the pantry.
Yeah, that's where mine is actually. Is in my pantry, and I love it.
Right. And I think the drawer microwaves are pretty popular down here.
Yeah, they're popular up here. I just don't know that I really like them personally. Do you use one, or do you?
I personally do not like them because I think it's too slow. If I want the door to open, I really don't want to wait 3 seconds.
Right.
That's a personal issue. But they're not my favorite, but I think they're good for certain aspects.
Yeah, they've got their pros and cons, but the other thing I don't like about the microwave over the stove is now you're in a situation where you could be reaching over a hot steaming pot or something like that to get something out of the microwave. But,
right.
Another one, dishwashers and corners. We see this a lot. Why don't we like dishwashers and corners? Well, because when you open the door of the dishwasher, it's probably blocking access to all of the cabinets where you would normally put your dishes away. So we like the dishwasher to kind of be out in the middle of the kitchen. Would you agree with that, Emily?
Absolutely. That's probably a good 25% of the renovations that we do are because of that exact situation.
Yeah. Another one, and this is a rule that we do break a lot when remodeling, because remodeling is a lot about compromise. You're working with an existing space. But if we can, I like when you walk through a kitchen doorway into a kitchen, the entry, that you don't have cabinets that come right up to the door, that you have at least 8 or 10 inches away. Why? Because it allows you to freely walk into the kitchen. It doesn't feel cramped and closed off. So I like that as a design standard. But you'll see down here, most kitchens, probably because the idea is they're trying to maximize storage space, they're running those cabinets all the way to a doorway.
Well, then you'll have to move your door switch or your electric switch.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that gap there.
Yeah, I like having the gap there. I think it makes a lot of sense. And then big one, I think this is probably one of the most common complaints in general. People who want to remodel, not enough counter space. Not only not enough counter space in general, but not enough counter space specifically next to the sink and next to the range.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see a minimum of 24 inches next to the sink and next to the range, both sides. Ideally, I like 36 inches. If you can do it, that gives you a lot better workspace.